So before coming here, I said, okay, let me go and do my little survey on what does happiness mean to people, and what does pursuit of happiness mean. So I put up a little question on my Facebook and on Twitter saying, what does happiness mean to you guys? I got tons and tons of responses. It was one of those questions which got, like, I think the most responses in a long time. And the one thing that was very clear is nobody agrees on what happiness means. Everybody has a different viewpoint. Everybody has a different interpretation of what it means. Everyone, other than the Chinese, like pretty much everything else in the world, they figured out the solution, and they figured out exactly what happiness means, and they have a formula. You want happiness for an hour, for a day, for lifelong? What is it? And they've got the answer. But I do have a lot of Chinese friends. I have a team, I've worked with a lot of them, and I did ask them. I said, so I sent a mail to a few of them saying, tell me what it means, and thinking that maybe I'll get the same answer from all of them. But no, I got extremely different answers, and I got different answers from each one. So in conclusion, the only thing I could arrive at is it's very personal. It's extremely personal. It's what's going on inside your mind. It's the worldview that you have with which you're looking at, I think, first yourself and then everyone else. And that's what determines your state of being, and your state of being determines how happy, sad, whatever the emotion it is that you're going through. So I actually feel pretty underqualified to stand here and talk about, give you all a mantra on happiness or what it talks about. What I will do is share my personal experiences, what happiness means to me, what's it been like, the journey to have, I think the journey is still going on, and nobody ever finds perfect happiness. But there's so much along the way that you can enjoy. So I want to share a bit of that and what were some of the key learnings. That works? Yep. So I don't have any mantra to happiness. So as Rajat said, happiness is a feeling of joy, right? When I think back, there are three things in my life that are the sources of tremendous joy to me, or I would say that are the most important sources of joy to me, right? The first is my family. The little one up there, she's the newest addition. She's my niece. And she believes she was born to rule over all of us, and she is, right? So when you walk into the room and that little thing smiles, it's like you forget everything in the world. Dad and I had a very special relationship. We were friends more than anything else. Biggest source of joy was to watch his team lose, or together when we sit in front of the TV, or watch my player vanquish his player completely, and then I would dig it in at least for a month. And that was to me, I didn't need anything else to make me happy. Just that was enough, right? So it's just some wonderful, wonderful memories there. It was Steve Jobs who said that, the one thing you should do in life, and I think that applies to all of you, is find a job that you really love, because that's what brings out the best in you. So I was very lucky in that department. Actually, I didn't find Intel. Intel found me, and it was love at first sight. It was love at first sight. Been with the company 17 years. If I work another 17 years, I think it's going to be in the same place. I am a technology geek, but as they say in India, it's with a twist. I don't like technology for the sake of technology. In fact, I believe technology for the sake of technology is the most meaningless thing ever. But what really makes it tick for me, what excites me about technology, is what it can do when people start using it, and using it in different ways. That's my passion. So it's really amazing to be able to follow your passion on a day-to-day basis and work with some absolutely brilliant people all over the world. And as Rajat says, we get paid for it. So, I can't ask for anything more. But that's another thing that gives me tremendous pleasure. And, whenever I'm talking to kids like you, one question that they keep asking me is, how long will you stay in the same job? Or how long should you stay in the same job? When do you know it's the right time to move? I have a very simple theory. The day you wake up in the morning and you feel that, I know what I'm going to do today, and sort of sleepwalk into your job, that's the day you move. Because you're not being fair to yourself if you do sleepwalk into your job. You have to wake up in the morning and feel charged up. You have to wake up in the morning and, the thrill of unknown, as you put it, it is so important to get you going, right? There has to be something out there that's going to catch you by surprise. If I don't have it, I'm going to hate what I do. But that's what keeps me going. And I love those surprises. I love those change. The third source, travel. I was bit by the travel bug very, very early, and it's my parents' fault. Dad was, his job required him to travel a lot all over the world. And he was one of those crazy guys who said that, stability is overrated. I don't believe in it. I believe that if the kids come along with me, they will learn a lot more because they're going to discover new cultures, new friends, and they're going to have friends all over the world. So that was his vision for us, right? So he said, okay, so whenever I go, you go. So we all traveled, and we were a pretty large family. So we all packed up and we moved with him all over the world. But travel is something that, to me, it's my stress buster. It's something that relaxes me, that recharges me. And if I don't get to travel, I get withdrawal symptoms. I mean, I really look forward to it. There was another rule that Dad had, which I really cherish, which was when you travel as a traveler, not as a tourist. A tourist travels to see what he wants to see. A traveler travels to see what is there. And that's a big difference. And he used to continuously tell us that. Never understood it when I was small, but now I do, and I really value that. And that's the only rule I follow when I travel. So those are sort of, the three things that are my source of happiness. That's my fountain of happiness. This is where I sort of go to, or this is what I look at when I need that little bit of a happiness injection in my life. But happiness it doesn't stand still. It's a moving target. And I'll give you an example of this very good friend of mine. When we were in college, I was the crazy one. I wanted to do everything crazy. I was just 5 feet nothing, but I wanted to go and fight somewhere, become a commando and all kinds of things, which I knew wouldn't work out. But, when God has given you the luxury to dream, you might as well have some crazy dreams. And she was the practical one, and I guess that's why we were such good friends. And at that point in life, I remember she was all about, okay, we finished college, I'm going to find a good job and a good husband. Okay, both happened. The job happened, the husband happened. Both good. And then after she got married, it was about, okay, I'm going to have the most perfect baby, right? My baby's going to be an absolute doll. Fine. If she wanted a girl, she got a girl. Absolute doll. Met her last year, just after the baby was born, and she was like, the best thing is walking into a room and when she recognizes you and she smiles. That is the best feeling a mother can ever have. Wonderful. Met her last week, and she says, you know what? I'm waiting for the day she can speak because that'll be the best feeling the mother can ever have. Right? The first time she calls me mom. Okay. So, happiness is constantly evolving. It's constantly moving. You think you've got it, reach there, and there's something else. Another door opens up, and it's a little bit better maybe. And I think that's fantastic. Who would want to wake up in the morning and have nothing to look forward to? You want to wake up in the morning and you want to know what is the next big thing you want to go for or next small thing you want to go for, but there has to be something. Right? And I love this quote from the Dalai Lama, which is, it's not ready-made. It comes from your own actions. As I said, it's our worldview. It's how we look at things. I think the most important thing is it's what we think of ourselves. That has a lot to do with happiness. If whoever you started it off, right? Not all of us want to be 6 feet, by the way. I'm very happy being 5 feet nothing. Okay, so I think it's how we see ourselves. It's I'm happy with who I am. The day we sort of reach that stage where we accept, all of us have our faults, all of us have our plus points. You can't change it. You can never be the perfect human being. Then you would not be a human being. So accept it. Accept the negatives, accept the positives, and make the best out of it, right? When you reach that stage, I think you're a bit more at peace with yourself. And when you are at peace with yourself, you find it easy to relate to others because you're not constantly comparing and you're not feeling insecure, you're not feeling threatened. And I think that leads to a lot of issues interpersonal issues that we have. So, when we do that, we realize that there's happiness in all the little things around us. And that's something which I've sort of realized after, especially last year was a chaotic year for me. Came back to India after many years. It was restarted in India. And then, unfortunately, I lost my dad. And, I could have got into a negative spiral myself. But I realized you can't allow yourself to do that. You just can't. You have to. There's so many wonderful memories that you can remember a person by. Despite the chaos and craziness of India, there is so many other positive things that you can, look at and feel good about, feel happy about, feel blessed. So it's a matter of which side do I choose. This was in Indonesia, in Bali. It was a very, very dangerous cliff. So they had the signs, and all the signs were no entry. And the last sign was not entry. So I think they really wanted to make it clear that you can't go forward, right? So all of us have those days. I have those days. You can't fight it. You can't be happy 24/7. It doesn't work that way. That would be very strange. That would be creepy almost, right? It's there are days when you want to kick someone's ass. So what? I mean, that's fine. I think you have to accept that life is the good and the bad. Life can't be just the good. There's happiness, there's sorrow, there's victory, there's failure, and all of that makes up life. And as long as we accept it in the right spirit, as long as we learn from it, as long as we learn to move along with it, despite it, whatever, we're good. Someone said that you can't buy happiness, but go and buy yourself an ice cream, or in my case, a hot chocolate fudge, and you're fine. That the bad mood can be taken care of. So I think that's another very important lesson for me. I think we get so obsessed with the search, so we really sometimes forget to just take a pause, look around us, and enjoy what we have. Wake up in the morning and mom has an adrak chai ready. How cool is that? I mean, I have lived abroad for most of my life, and I didn't have all those luxuries. I made my own tea. I made my own Maggi noodles because I couldn't cook to save my life, and I did everything. And now for the 1 year, I have people doing everything for me. I mean, it is so fantastic, right? There is so much happiness that you can find if you just take the time to appreciate what's around you. You take the time to just express gratitude maybe once in a while, because that brings happiness to so many other people. So yes, the pursuit of happiness to me is very important. I think it's what keeps life going ahead. It's what keeps life moving ahead. It is extremely important. It's not something we should feel bad about or embarrassed about. It's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong in doing it. But it's about balance. I guess life is about balance. As you go out and chase that dream, don't forget the people that you have with you. Don't forget the moments you have with you. Don't forget the memories you have with you. And take the time to enjoy those. Be happy. The journey will look even better for you. So with that, thank you very much for having me here today. It's been a pleasure talking to you.